You should get and build SilverAsh altar. Long answer. This entire video.
Your time and sanity should be left to more consequential matters. Surely you can find someone suitable to handle these trifles in your stead?
彼らは間もなく自らが直面するものを知るだろう。
Adios SilverAsh, a feline from Yerrig, who has renewed his contract with us Rhodes Island. He is the former chairman of Cullen Trade, and is also the head of SilverAsh clan. But even though he's no longer the chairman, with his status and Yerrig complex situation, we should be wise in our cooperation with him. He is also a talented individual who has unique views on economic, trade, politics, and strategic planning. And he is also very tall. Alright, our swing has finally got his altar. SilverAsh altar is our first ever 6-star strategist vanguard, and is also the newest limited character. As you have probably known from Matsukiri, this vanguard archetype is similar to a pioneer in that they are to block vanguard, but focused on supporting and deployed operators. This is done by reducing their DP cost and providing various buffs. You can say they are the supporters in Vanguard class. Okay, this is SilverAsh altar general stats. His stats are all average, which is pretty normal for a Vanguard. But with his defensive stats and later his talent, he can actually become a decent tank unit. And about his DP cost, without potential, he cost 13 DP to be deployed, which is slightly expensive for a Vanguard. Well, this is the typical cons that a high rarity Vanguard has. But the usual strategy of this game is to bring 2 Vanguards, so you might want to bring someone cheaper as your other Vanguard unit. Okay, let's talk about his talent. He has a very interesting talent 1. When deployed, he will add this thing called Eye of the Blizzard. It's not a summon unit, but basically it's a mark to determine which operators will get his buffs. And the operators who get his buffs is someone that is cheaper than the eye, or at the left side of the eye. Anyway, this talent will give himself and operators at the left side of the eye initial skill point bonus, and their redeployment time reduced by 20%. The skill point can be very helpful to quickly use an operator skill. Some operators can even use their skill immediately upon deployment, thanks to this talent. The redeployment time reduction is also lovely, and can be a game changing. Most operators have 70 seconds redeployment time. And if they get this buff they now only need about 56 seconds. Agent Vanguard went from 35 seconds to 28 seconds. Merchant Specialist went from 25 to 20. And Executor Specialist went from 18 to about 14 seconds. And as I said before, SilverAsh will get this buff without any condition. So that means he will permanently get the initial SP bonus, and 20% redeployment time reduction. Moving on, his second talent is also strong. If he's on the field, he will make all Yerrig operators immune to one of the most troublesome effects in the game, and that is frozen. They will still be affected by cold, but at least they won't get the second effect that is frozen. Other than that, this talent also gives flat defense bonus, and HP regeneration. And these 2 effects are doubled after 15 seconds. No doubt these 2 effects will turn him and other Yerrig units into a better tank, and makes them less vulnerable against DOT, like a stage with Red Mist for example. Also, I like to clarify Yerrig operators not only mean operators whose faction is Yerrig, but also those who are born in this country. So someone like Steward can actually get this buff. Next up, this is his potential upgrade list. You got stuff that will reduce his cost, increase his defense and HP. And upgrading his second talent by increasing the defense bonus and HP regeneration. SilverAsh Alter definitely gets a more impactful upgrade from duplicate than most operators. The DP cost reduction can help with his big DP cost issue for a vanguard. And the talent upgrade is also nice, especially when you consider it can be doubled. But yes, he is definitely still amazing even without extra pot. However, if you aim to get his potential, it's definitely worth a lot more than most units. Also about his module. Currently Strategist Vanguard doesn't have a module, even in CN server. So share your module ideas for this archetype in the comment. Well then, let's talk skills. But before that I'd like to remind you about his talent 1, that gives him an initial SP bonus, which will help a lot in his skill first activation. Other than that, Bagpipe can also help to further increase the initial SP bonus, to the point that you can activate his skill instantly upon deployment. Anyway, let's see his skill 1. After I analyze it closely and see others' perspectives. His skill 1 is a good skill if your main aim for him is to just generate DP. It costs 29 SP to activate with 19 initial SP, so 10 SP to activate this skill. That's about 1 skill point higher than Myrtle skill 1. But considering his talent to add initial SP, the wind up time is actually shorter. Other than that, while the skill only generates 10 DP, it will also cut one operator DP by 5. And it's very good news if that operator is the one you want to deploy next. This skill will also give a barrier to the operator whose DP has been cut. Not exactly a very strong barrier, but it can be useful in some situations. Overall it's a good skill if you want him to focus on just printing DP. But I still think you better use his other skills than this. So let's see his next skill. His skill 2 is considered best used in general. He will launch a slash attack with a damage multiplier that can hit up to 6 enemies, which also applies cold, and temporarily reveal enemy with invisibility. In the DP department, while it doesn't generate DP, it can cut one single operator cost by 11. Now here's the interesting part. Operators who are at the left side of the eye will also launch this slash attack on their position after deployment. SilverAsh can have 2 charges of this skill, and the undeployed operator can also have 2 charges stored before their deployment. Overall it's a very unique and strong skill. First you got the cold, which can be stacked up to inflict frozen. And it also makes Silver Alter one of the best units to inflict these 2 effects. Invisibility reveal is also very useful when there's a pesky enemy with this effect. It can effectively ignore some game mechanics. Now about the slash attack. For better or worse, the slash attack from other operators is scaled with their own attack. Which means someone with a low attack like Gravel won't do much damage. But those with high attack like Crusher Guard have the potential to one-shot an enemy. Still, combined with his talent, this skill makes him a great partner for fast redeploy units. For downside, well, the fact that he will just reduce operator cost and not generate any DP could be a problem in some situations, like when you're playing with Merchant Specialist. By the way, there's a really interesting stuff you can do with Silver Alter skill 2, if you have Mulesies. As you may know, Mumu's clone can copy an operator. During this cloning state, all operators in the waiting zone will get their DP reduced to 0. Which means they become cheaper than the eye. And you can activate SilverAsh skill 2 during this, to apply all of the slash attack to all your operators. And he can still reduce the DP cost of the rightmost operator. The result can be seen after Mumu's done cloning, and should affect the rightmost operator. Last but not least, his skill 3. SilverAsh will expand his range, and each of his attack has a damage multiplier. He also reveals enemy invisibility, and inflicts a good 30% fragile to the enemies, allowing him to deal significant damage to the enemies. Might not be as impactful as the main damage dealer, but it's still a lot for a vanguard. But the thing about this skill is that the next operator you deploy will also become the anchor point of this skill effect, allowing you to have 2 of the skill effects at the same time. The Eye of the Blizzard also became deployable, which is used to change the location of the skill effect to other operators. This can be a useful tool for your main damage dealer to make use out of the extra damage, fragile effect, and invisibility reveal. In the DP printing department, he will instantly generate 9 DP, and gradually gain 24 DP over the skill duration, which is considered a lot. And here's what makes the skill interesting. The first time you use this skill, SilverAsh can swap the DP cost of someone with the lowest deploy cost with the most expensive one. This is a very useful tool if you need to deploy an expensive operator immediately. So if you find this ability useful, make sure to bring someone with low cost to be swapped. 1-star operators are typically the best choice. If you have Inez, you can also take advantage of her skill 3, where her first deployment becomes 0 to deploy her sentry. Well, a pretty nice advantage I suppose. Because the expensive operator will not get 0 DP cost, but Inez original cost. And Inez DP cost for the actual deployment after deploying the sentry will still be affected by the DP swap. By the way, after the operators whose DP cost is swapped leaves the map, their DP costs return to normal. Overall a very strong and useful skill. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows with this skill. It has obvious downsides. One being its expensive SP cost, which makes it painful if you ever want to use this skill more than once. The next downside is that you can't fully take advantage of his talent 1. Since it doesn't reduce operator cost, operator that costs more than the eye won't get the sweet buffs from his talent 1. Also, for some odd reason, the DP swapping mechanic only works once per battle. For skill mastery priority, he is M6 worthy with his skill 2 and 3. Both offer strong damage for a vanguard, as well as useful utilities. And both also have strong impact gain from mastery. I personally like and recommend you go with his skill 2 first. It is very useful for general content, especially if you like to play with fast redeploy. Whereas skill 3 comes off as a bit more niche, typically when you want to use the DP swap mechanic or the fragile. And as I said before, it has more obvious downside than skill 2. As for skill 1, it's good for printing DP, and actually has impactful gain from mastery. But skill mastery for a 6-star is already expensive as it is, so it's better you focus on skills that can be useful in a lot more situations. As for base skill, if he's in the control center, he can increase trading post efficiency if that trade post has 3-year operators. And when he's in training room, he can speed up fellow vanguard operator mastery training speed with an increased effect for M3. So ladies and gentlemen, that is why you should get and build SilverAsh Alter. A highly versatile vanguard. You can say he is the mix of all the best vanguard we have so far. With strong damage potential for a vanguard, and a lot of useful utilities. He should be useful for both veteran and new players. Although if you new players have an unbuilt DPS unit, might want to upgrade them first, and bench SilverAsh at Elite 1 for the time being. SilverAsh Alter is also no doubt a very useful unit in story content. He has high potential in advanced stages. And he also makes an appearance as the top 3 most used vanguard in integrated strategies 5. Additionally, he is a limited that appear in a very strong banner. So gameplay wise there's almost no reason to skip his debut banner. Some might consider focusing on Wang and Shin Alter banner instead. While it is also a great banner, but I strongly recommend you don't lose this opportunity to get either SilverAsh Alter or Pramanix Alter. That should be all. Adios.